Did you guys hear about the tattoo artist Gia Rose? Lads, wait till you hear this. So you might actually know her, this girl Gia Rose. I'll show you her Instagram page because I didn't know her name, but I know her work because she's a really big tattoo artist. Like, she's one of the biggest tattoo artists. Okay. So like, this is like, I've seen it like loads of times, like through the years. She has been offering mentorships. But for anyone who doesn't know what mentorship is, so if you're an established tattoo artist and you want to go and learn off somebody else, you call it a mentorship. You might teach them about your business, what works for you, critique their work, tell them what they can do better, how they can crisp their lines better, what they could be using, maybe change your equipment, XYZ. It's just a mentorship for a month, 2 months, 3 months, few weeks. It can be any amount of time. So guess how much she was charging? She's been on Ink Master, loads of like TV shows for tattooing and stuff. $8,000 for a mentorship. And she was giving out 5 spaces for a mentorship. There was a woman who was interested. Jess Fox Tattoos. So yeah, this is her. So Jess Fox signed up for the mentorship from Gia Rose because she looked up to her. She wanted to learn from her to improve her tattooing, and she also owns her own shop. So she is established. So, but she wants to improve her tattooing. Like, her tattoos are good. I like this. I like this boy. I like the fish. I think the fish is cool. And I think she has a really cool black and a kind of a neo-traditional kind of style to her tattooing, which is really cool. But she obviously, wants to improve herself in ways. So she signed up for the $8,000 mentorship, right? Gia kept bailing on her. So apparently there was like 1 or 2 proper reasons, but most of them were proper BS. So she'd sent the €6,000 or the $6,000, and then Gia was asking her for the other $2,000, and Jess said, "No, you've missed 8 days of the mentorship so far." And I was wondering, could we figure out the 8 days that you've missed before I pay another $2,000? Because Jess was saying that she was working 7 days a week to be able to afford this mentorship, that she saved up for this, that, it was really hard on her to be able to afford this. And fair enough. It's not cheap. Who's going to be able to pull $8,000 out of the air? No one I know. So yeah, that's complete. She was taking her for a spin, like she was taking her for a ride. So she said that to Gia, and fair play to her, honestly. Like, imagine standing up to one of the most influential and biggest tattoo artists in America. That takes some balls. So Gia took her $6,000 and ended her mentorship. And then Jess made a video on TikTok explaining to people what had happened and saying, "I just want people to be aware of this woman and how she robbed from me, and that you shouldn't be giving her business because she's a bad person," basically. So then Gia clapped back and said that Jess is just looking for her 5 minutes of fame, and she just wants to take down her career in the process. Girl, be so for real, like. You robbed her. You robbed her. Like, do you want to see the video from Jess? Yeah, let's see the video. I haven't even seen the video. I've just been hearing the drama bits by bits. It's not drama, it's proper, like. This is Jess, the one that was robbed. It wasn't even she can't even sue her because it wasn't even a verbal agreement. It was a established contract.
Not really one to go on social media to air my dirty laundry. I wanted to share with you a recent experience that I had with somebody who is pretty well known in the tattoo community. I was given an opportunity for a 3-month mentorship under a very well-known tattooer in the community for $8,000, $4,000 up front, and then 2 installments of $2,000 to finish it off. And I agreed that I had an artist contract to sign. And I will say in this contract, it said all the funds were non-refundable. And I took this to my lawyer, and my lawyer looked it over, and he told me, Jess, you're not protected. And this person at any point could say that they don't feel like teaching you anymore, they could keep all your money. On my first day of coming out to Scranton, I was texted at 3 hours.
Okay, so the message says, if you can't read it, Gia said, just come get settled with me today because the electricity at the shop got effed up, but you get the entire day with her tomorrow and Friday, and she's super sorry, just a heads up, but, and then the last part is scribbled out.
Hours into my drive saying that there was an electrical problem and I couldn't come in today. Fast forward to the last week of June.
So, and this is from Gia. Hey, we are tattooing this week, so make sure to bring your stuff. And did you want to do payment in cash or PayPal? The audacity. Anytime is fine. It doesn't have to be the first, so don't stress it. Just getting our budget orders today.
I get a text asking when I was going to make the next payment for July. I said that the payment wasn't due until July 1st, but I'd be fine with paying early if she needed it, and proceeded to tell me that she did need it. So I sent it to her. Everything was going smoothly. And while this was happening, I was actively on my way to...
See you tomorrow. Definitely dress for the heat. It's not going to be that bad though, just heads up. Well, I'm in today unless you want me to head for today. I'm also going to share my location with you so you know where I'm at when I'm coming or if I'm ever running late.
I sent this individual $2,000 to pay for the month of July's education. And while I sent her that, I was told that there was an appointment that she had and she was going to be out of the studio and that day was going to be a wash. So I turned around, drove back home, and she told me that she would see me tomorrow. Tomorrow comes, I start my drive at 5 a.m. to make sure that I get there at 11 a.m. And this individual sends me another message saying that there's inclement weather, even though the weather was completely fine, and that I couldn't come out for that week.
Imagine, unless there's a hurricane going through and there's a red weather warning, there is no reason for weather to be the excuse to not have someone come down to your shop and work. Like, oh my God, this woman is robbing her.
So that was the first point at which I lost an entire week. So at this point, I had only been in 8 full days.
And don't forget, she was paying her for a 3-month mentorship for $8,000. That's what, by 3? Like, I don't know. What's 8,000 divided by 3? So she'd lost 22 days of the month. 22 days of the month, and she'd paid like $2,750 for 8 days. That is crazy.
Because of the first day cancellation and then the 3 missed days in June. The first week of July, I was told that there was not going to be any work because it was a holiday. Again, I understood. And then the following week, I was told that I could not come out again via text because it was too hot in the building. At this point, I have paid $6,000 for 8 days of work.
Honestly, she is a better woman than I would ever be because I would have lost my mind at this stage. It's just so disrespectful. It's so disrespectful.
And when I finally advocated for myself, printed out calendars, I highlighted the days that I've been in, I highlighted the days that were canceled, I said that there's too many makeup days, that it would extend this mentorship into the fall, past October. She had told me that it was not her responsibility.
Let me read it. Let me read this for you. This is what Gia said. Gia Rose said to this person who had paid her for a mentorship. Let's see. Something that I'm just literally not responsible for, and it's not my problem. You know, we had this agreement with these concessions and understandings, and it very much feels like you are not okay with them any longer for whatever reason. What do you mean? She was never okay with it. What are you talking about? You literally didn't come in for the days she was supposed to be there. She's supposed to be learning off you, and you're telling her to not come in. This is not something that she had agreed with. Like, this is crazy. Trying to hold me to something that I would have never agreed to. Then why did you agree to be a mentor? Something I would never agree to in the first place. I would not teach somebody or mentor somebody or apprentice someone or take someone on that was not able to understand the flexibility of life situation and scheduling, whether it's on my end or your end. Gia, I'm going to hold your hand when I say this. But this woman has been more than understanding about life situations. And she has been extremely patient with you throughout this process. You have robbed an honest person who looked up to you. And you're trying to gaslight her now into believing that she's the problem in this situation. When you robbed a hard-working woman of $6,000. I just want to hold your hand when I tell you that.
And that I was not being nice enough to give her an opportunity to come up with a solution. So in our messages back and forth, she kept bringing up how
Blue is sender, so Jess. All I'm trying to do is spread awareness on a situation so more people do not give this horrible person clientele. Do not give this horrible person their hard-earned money because they don't deserve it if they're going to treat another artist in the industry like this. Especially someone that looked up to them. The point of that conversation was that Jess was trying to help get her money's worth. She wanted to get her money's worth from this. And she was making it as accessible to Gia as possible. That's what I read that as. Because she was trying to be like, look, if you can't show up or if it's too much for you, we can do this digitally. And maybe if it's digital, I can still get all my stuff done that I want to learn from you. And you don't have to feel the pressure of coming into the shop on extra days to teach me. Fair enough. Honestly, this screams that she actually didn't have any mentorship stuff available for Jess. And she just didn't want to have to make stuff for homework for her.
our messages back and forth, she kept bringing up how she thinks that it's uncomfortable and
way that it was handled is what makes me feel uncomfortable, because going further into the future, we're still going to have those potential problems and those inevitability. I could get sick, you could get sick, I could break my hand, a family emergency might happen. You know, there are many things, and this was clearly outlined in our contract. Okay, yes, she understands that life situations will occur. But as someone who made the contract, and if there's nothing in the contract that stipulates it has to be between these 3 months and it can't go over in any way, as long as the contract doesn't say that, under contract law, she is allowed to ask for extra days to make up for time that was not done within the contract period. That is a stipulation. If it's not in it, then this is her adding it to the contract. Contracts, people don't understand, but contracts can always be added to. Stipulations can always be added to contracts. If she agrees to doing extra days to make up for the time that she's lost, that's a stipulation to their contract. And this is the written agreement to the stipulation added into the contract. I did contract law in university. She's a terrible person.
I should probably just quit. I didn't want to quit because how I personally feel about someone and a business transaction that I paid for as an investment in my education, they don't have to exist together. I really want to warn people about this individual.
Facts.
And I think that my experience is probably not the first one. It breaks my heart to my core that I considered this person a friend and somebody that I looked up to and valued their work. And they had taken such bad advantage of me and other people in front of me while I was in the studio. There are people like me who will continue to give people the benefit of the doubt. And one of the things that stuck out to me was when I tried to have a conversation with this person, and I'll attach the screenshots to this if anybody's interested in seeing them. When I reached out to this person as a human being to another human being about how this affects me and my...
She's completely right. She's completely right. And it just screams narcissistic abuse, what this Gia girl is doing.
The response was that it's not their responsibility. And if somebody wants...
As a teacher, it's unfortunately not my responsibility to make it work for you beyond my means, and especially if I'm giving no insight at all into a problem. Can you imagine paying €8,000 for a mentorship for someone to be your mentor and teacher for 3 months, and they come back and say, it's unfortunately not my responsibility to make it work for you beyond my means, then don't be a teacher. I was an assistant teacher for so long. I taught so many people leaving cert Japanese. And it's a lot of work having to make up homework, having to make up classes, having to make specific classes for specific people because they don't understand certain things or they need to work on certain areas. That is the job and responsibility as a teacher. It's a joke. This is a joke.
To teach somebody in a position of power, I think it's their responsibility to come up.
That I don't necessarily have the emotional capacity right now in my life to kind of take on another person who has a disregard or dislike of me personally. She never said that because things aren't working out on their end. You're just being a crap teacher and holding me accountable for things that I'm not responsible for.
It's scary to think that somebody like that had such power over me just because they wanted to take advantage of me, and I was the perfect person to do it. This person took money from me when I don't have a ton of money to give. I had to work 7 days a week to afford this. And I've passed up plenty of opportunities to do other seminars, to do conventions, to book clients, to be able to focus on my work at home, to be there with these people. And it hurts to see that people can cloak things in tattooing to hurt others. Although this is like a really painful lesson for me, I know that at the core of it, I didn't do that to someone else, and like, I'm a good fucking person, and I can go to bed at night knowing I didn't do what that hurt.
You're a better person than me, girl. You're a better person than I will ever be because I couldn't do that. I would be vicious in that situation. €8,000. If you're wondering who the absolute piece of garbage person is who stole her money, this is her. This is the one who stole her money. I wonder what's on her story. Wow. This person is a narcissist. Imagine stealing $6,000 from someone, not giving them the full 3 months that was stipulated in the contract, and then putting this on your story when you get called out for your absolutely dog behavior. I wouldn't even, not even a dog. Wouldn't even call her a snake. This is just the lowest kind of low to steal from someone like this. Jesus, she must be desperate to be robbing people like that.